Hello and welcome to the 5 Minute Film Club, and also welcome to part 4 of my series called 30 Years of Horror. I had the pleasure last year, alongside loads of other people across the world, that got to see John Carpenter live in concert performing his most celebrated film scores.
Horror movies will live forever.
It was a joyfully strange experience. John Carpenter, for me, growing up, was one of the first people who really made me excited about wanting to make films, and just made me really want to explore all the different areas of film and how films made you feel. And so when compiling this list of films to review, I'm so glad that he released one in 1987, and it is Prince of Darkness. Something strange is going down in LA. Astrological bodies are on the move, and a rundown church seems to be a portal to the underworld via some green, swirling goo. Prince of Darkness tells the story of a group of scientists led by Victor Wong at the behest of a priest played by Donald Pleasance.
He lives in the smallest parts of it.
They get together and they try and stop the converging forces of darkness from taking over the world. A classic Carpenter siege sets in as slowly the scientists get possessed by the evil entities, ultimately leaving a core group who must push their scientific minds away and take a dive into the spiritual. Prince of Darkness came out between two stone-cold Carpenter classics, Big Trouble in Little China and They Live. And in many ways that is how best to describe this film. It is somewhere in between those two films. It has a lot of the same actors, and it has all of the great Carpenter tropes. We have a siege, good versus evil, Donald Pleasance, and a ragtag group who slowly get whittled away in increasingly gory fashion. Carpenter said he wanted to create a film that had dread, something that I would always say is prevalent anyway in his films. But more than most, aside from perhaps Assault on Precinct 13 or The Thing, Prince of Darkness seems to focus in on the ever-increasing tension. You could almost say that the climax of this film is not as important as the way the film gets there. It feels like an exercise. Now, this is both a pro and a con of the film. The technical aspects of the film, for me, far outweigh the story. It feels too much like a kernel of an idea. This spirituality, religion versus scientific coldness. I think it feels very much like what the X-Files would do maybe, half a decade later. And maybe that's exactly what this film's plot needs, is a 45-minute running time rather than a full feature length. But as always with Carpenter, whereas sometimes the script doesn't exactly live up to its initial setting, you are always guaranteed some absolutely phenomenal visuals. The one standout shot for me in the film is towards the end. It is an absolutely wonderful shot, and it is brilliantly lit by the cinematographer. Also with John Carpenter, you get a great score. And when that main theme kicks in, it feels straight out of, some gothic Dracula tale, but it's so synth heavy, it's wonderful. It's such an updated version of Hammer horror. Now, I am a huge John Carpenter fan, always have been, always will be. And whereas Prince of Darkness may sit towards the lower end of his filmography, I think there's still a lot to be enjoyed through watching it and definitely listening to it.
I stopped it. The future conjured up by that vile serpent will not happen now.